second. So today's topic is 8 secrets to maximize sales conversion. So that is the topic for today. And so what is sales conversion? Inquiry to purchase order. So converting an inquiry to a purchase order is sales conversion. Shorten follow-up process. So if it is taking you about 6 months for a follow-up or 2 months for a follow-up, what all can I do to reduce it a little bit more? And then increase percentage of order collection. That is, if you have 100 inquiries, if you're generally collecting only 10, how can you make it 20 or how can you make it 15? So these are the top, these are the areas that we hope will get covered in this today's presentation. And this is applicable mainly for those with strong sales pipeline. So if you don't know what's a sales pipeline, or if you don't have a very strong sales pipeline, then whatever I tell today you might not be able to implement it soon, or it might not work in a big way. So I hope all of you have a good strong sales pipeline, and hope at least few will be useful for you, because when I'm sharing, I wrote 8 here, but actually there are bonuses at the end. I hope at least few of them will be useful for you. And if you have something that you are doing, which I don't know or which is not shared in this particular presentation, you can please add your points towards the end. So we'll have a few minutes for that also. So the first secret is inquiry temperature. Okay. So as I said, some of them you might already be doing, some of them might be new to you. But you can make a note of it and ask me questions towards the end, share something that you know which we don't know. So please do that. Okay, now inquiry temperature is divide each inquiry as hot, warm, and cold. So every time you have an inquiry, every inquiry that you receive first is always hot, because you need to follow up, if at least for the first within the first 1 or 2 days, you need to follow up and find out whether it is actually an urgent requirement or not. And then change the temperature to hot, warm, or cold. Hot is if it's a daily follow up, warm is if it's a weekly follow up, and cold if it's a monthly follow up. That is, if it's an urgent requirement, obviously you need to follow up every day, probably even multiple times in a day. Now, what happens if when you have temperatures for each inquiry is more attention to the ones that can be closed soon. So when especially as I said, this is applicable for someone who's got a big pipeline. So if you don't have a huge number of inquiries to follow up, then of course this might not appear to be very valuable to you, because if you have only 10 inquiries that you're following up, then this really does not make sense. But if you have, let's say, 100 inquiries to follow up or 200 inquiries to follow up, which is our case, for example, we have a large number of inquiries to follow up. Okay, so without this, our life becomes difficult. So that's why, so always have a temperature for each inquiry and follow up according to that. Hot inquiries you follow up on a daily basis, warm inquiries on a weekly, and cold inquiries maybe once in a month. Second one is follow up forever. Sometimes what we do is, if we don't have a systematic approach, we end up following up for 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and then we just miss out that inquiry. We just let the inquiry go. Please don't do that. Instead, always follow up forever. Do not give up on follow up. If a client is non-responsive, follow up after 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. Okay, don't leave an inquiry. Like, let's say you made 10 calls. Don't say that, oh, I called that customer 10 times or the prospect 10 times, he didn't respond, so I left it. Please don't ever do that. Always keep following up. Push the inquiry for 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, even for 2 years, and you'll be surprised things will happen. Your conversion will be much better. Advantages, you will remain top of the mind for them. And if not current requirement, future requirements will be discussed with you. Okay, so always keep following up. Third is create a plan for lost inquiries. Now, I don't know how many of you do it, but this is something that we take care of. Whenever we lose an inquiry for whatever reason, maybe for price or maybe for competition, whatever reason we've lost an inquiry, or maybe because of our mistake, we did not follow up on time, we lost an inquiry. Stay in touch with them once in 3 months or 6 months. Stay in touch with them either through a broadcast or through a LinkedIn. So what we do is we have a broadcast list where I typically add any lost customers to my broadcast list. Okay, and then I stay in touch with them once in a month or once in a quarter. I stay in touch with them, all of them. And so the advantage of this is they may shift from previous vendor. I have had cases, especially because we are into software solutions, and it's a something that we don't sell a product. So we basically give hope and trust to customers. So sometimes they don't trust us and they go to another vendor. We've seen typically that after 6 months or 3 months, they come back to us, uh, for various reasons, and if we are not in touch with them, probably they would have never come back to us. So stay in touch with them. They may actually shift from a previous vendor. You will remain top of the mind for them, because usually software solutions, especially custom software solutions, is not a smooth journey. I can assure you that, we have many people from software industry here. It's a very tough journey, software industry. It's not an easy journey. So whenever a customer gets into a wrong vendor, they're always thinking of why did I get into this particular relationship, and they may even look at switching. So you'll remain on top of mind when they want to do that, and they may have new requirements also. Broadcast strategy. Though I told about broadcast strategy is select few key inquiries for WhatsApp broadcast. So if you feel that some very important inquiries, you really want to be in touch with them, and you really want to stay on top of mind with them. Maybe they are not responding to you, or maybe their requirement is not sudden immediate, or you know that they're a key requirement, key prospect. Then create a broadcast list. For example, I have a weekly and a monthly and a quarterly broadcast, and I have added each many people into different levels. If somebody is extremely busy and they would get irritated if I send regular messages, I put them into quarterly or maybe monthly broadcast. If somebody is also into marketing and it's okay that they receive at least once a week, I put them into weekly broadcast, and I keep sending them relevant marketing material, and marketing material only. Sometimes maybe anniversary, that is Rajola's anniversary messages we may send, or maybe some other achievement success story that we've had we may send. So create a broadcast strategy. Okay. And advantage is again top of the mind presence, call for future requirements. So when you are in touch with them, and I am sure I would have at least 200 people in my broadcast list. So when I send this broadcast, I can tell you that out of the 200, at least one gets in touch with me. Okay, at least one on a weekly basis. So imagine that's a massive number. That's not a small number. Okay, getting one inquiry per week from one activity is a good number. So, and that's free. The beauty of it is it's free. I don't pay a rupee for advertising over there. Fifth one is connect on LinkedIn. See, if you know a prospect and if you've spoken to them once or twice, go ahead and connect on LinkedIn and be active on LinkedIn. Post regularly on LinkedIn your case studies and success stories. Keep posting. And what happens is, again, top of the mind recall, call for future requirements. LinkedIn is one platform which is, we all know, has already gained quite a good popularity, and now it is still catching up the way LinkedIn is building. And almost all decision makers of companies are there on LinkedIn. So when you want to impress these decision makers, the inquiries, the prospects, build a rapport with them on the first meeting and say, "Sir, can I add you on my LinkedIn? I would like to be connected with you." Add them on LinkedIn. I'm telling you, your conversion rate will be much higher, because instead of you convincing them or impressing them, your LinkedIn is taking care. You already have a good education. You're already there in some position. You already done a lot of things. Where will you have the time to tell all of that to them on the phone call or on a meeting? Your LinkedIn. So use it. You use them and connect them on LinkedIn and stay in connect with them on LinkedIn. Have a CRM software. So it's my marketing pitch. So if any of you need a software, please let me know. Okay. By the way, have a CRM software. Track each inquiry, follow up, and auto reminders. See, one of the best things about CRM is you'll never miss out on an inquiry. You'll always stay in touch with them. Even if it's after 6 months, you'll still have it with you. You'll never miss out on inquiry. And the an inquiry which might appear the coldest might turn out to be the most hottest in a month, in a span of 6 months. You never know. Okay. And it also has auto reminders. So you need not have to remind in your mind or in a book as to which customer should I call today or which prospect. So it has its own reminders. So that's something that you get. So advantages: scientifically track very large number of inquiries. So if you're handling only 10 or 15 inquiries, you don't need anything. Just a book or even your mind might more than be sufficient. Your phone is more than sufficient. But the moment the count crosses 100 or 200, and if it's a big number, that's when you need some kind of a tool which organizes everything for you and helps you to follow up correctly. Seventh one is post in WhatsApp status daily. So I don't know how many of you have tried this, but if you have not done this, please start today and check it for about 2 or 3 months. Don't take a decision within a few days. Okay, nothing's going to happen in few days. At least be consistent for 2 to 3 months and just see this. Keep posting in your WhatsApp status something about your business. It could also be just one poster that you're posting every day. Just one poster that you have created or somebody has created for you. Just post it every day. Every day morning before you start work, post it, and you will see within 3 months that somebody you meet somewhere and say, "Oh, okay, this is what you're doing." Oh, I mean, you may not even know the person, or you may have hardly met the person before. That they may ask you questions like, "Oh, yeah, I've seen your post. I see your status." In fact, many customers have told me that, "Thomas, I see your WhatsApp status. It's quite good." In fact, recently in BNI, we started a process of posting other team members' posters, and now people are asking. In fact, brother Alexander asked me yesterday, I keep seeing this often. What is it? And then I had to explain to him what is trusted referrals. Pradosh knows about it. So it's some people see. I'm telling you, people see WhatsApp status, and the best thing is it is not invasive. You're not forcing anything onto them. It's not invasive because people hate when it is invasive. Okay, they say hey, then they block you also sometimes. So it's non-invasive and high recall. Advantage is top of the mind. So do it every day. Nothing will happen if you do it once a week. It has to be done on a daily basis. And another thing is people like Gary Vee, and they in fact tell you to post once every hour. Post 15, especially because it's non-invasive. If people want to see it, they will see it. If they don't want to see it, they will not see it. So it's non-invasive. So even if you post around 10 to 15 in a day, perfect. But you should have the content. So for example, I'm not able to do that. I'm able to do only one per day. But I would love to create so much of content where I can actually post 10 every day, because it's non-invasive. It's non-invasive and it's advantageous to others. It's like something beneficial for others. If I can do it, it'll be amazing. In fact, I should plan that actually. So strategy for WhatsApp groups. See, I'm sure all of us here are in business, and we are part of plenty of WhatsApp groups. Okay, so what will happen is sometimes when you post in some WhatsApp groups, they will say you're posting too much. And I don't know if any of you have had an experience that they remove you from the group, or they delete your message and all that. And some groups, they hardly post. Even in a month, there's one or two posts only that happens. Even if there are 100 people in the group, hardly one or two people post. And some groups, they post regularly. Every day there are 30, 50 messages. So when you are part of such WhatsApp groups, create a strategy, create a small Excel sheet, and write daily, weekly, monthly, and maybe twice a week. Create a strategy and write down those WhatsApp group names there. If a group is extremely active, you have to post on a daily basis. If the group is like moderatively active, then maybe weekly once. If the group is hardly active, maybe monthly once, because otherwise you will be kicked out of the group. Okay, you will lose out on the opportunity of showing to 100 people that you are actually there and you can actually provide them or help them. So create a WhatsApp group strategy. It may sound very silly, but I have been using it at least for close to 2 years now, and it has worked wonders for me. Okay, I've never been removed from groups. Whenever a person says that you're posting too much, I immediately move them from a daily to a weekly. If they say I'm posting too much, I move them to monthly. That's it. Okay, that's what I do. And if they still say, then I have a quarterly also, so I move them to a quarterly. Okay, which is fine. I mean, I'm at least getting an opportunity to push content into the group once in 3 months, which is fine. Out of that, if one person gets in touch with me and if I get a business, it's free. The beauty is the whole thing is free. Okay, and whatever I'm telling right now is all free. Even the CRM is also probably free. So please get in touch with me. I'll tell you another marketing pitch. Okay. So advantage here is make the most out of WhatsApp groups. Don't lose WhatsApp groups that are there. Don't be removed for spamming. Okay, now comes a little bit of a bonus content. Now I added this little late before I created after I created the title. That's why I couldn't modify the title. So ninth one is create a sales cadence. Now this is not my jargon. This is a very popular jargon in all good CRM softwares. Okay, so this is not something that I've created. So what is a cadence? Cadence is whenever you get an inquiry, you follow a process. For example, the first step might be send an email, a welcome email or a hi email or something. And then after 2 days, send a profile, attach your profile and send the profile. Then after 2 days or 3 days, you decide on the duration, send a success story, some success story that you have built, write down and relevant for them, send a success story. And then in the fourth email or fourth interaction, maybe after a few days, ask for an appointment in the mail. And then finally, maybe after a week or 10 days, you make a phone call. Okay, now this is called sales cadence. It's not my invention. It's a popular process that is followed in sales process. Okay, the advantage of this is better chance of prospect answering the call and conversion. See, what happens is we all know cold calling. Cold calling is something that people are not interested in. They just cut the call if you call and say, do you want so and so service of mine? But when you usually follow a sales cadence, the chances of getting your call answered and the person recollecting and saying, yeah, Thomas, I've been seeing your content, is little higher. So if you make cold calls, if your call answer rate is like 2% or 5% and you get an inquiry, here it can double or triple, maybe go up to 10%. So that's the advantage of having a sales cadence. And this is best done if you have a software. And you can also have a automated software, which of course we don't do as a company, but there are many automated softwares that you have which automates this entire process, sending an email, sending a profile, sending a success story, asking for an appointment. And of course, making a call you need to do, but that also I'm sure you can use a cloud telephony and do it. So there are softwares for doing sales cadence. If you're not having too many inquiries, if you have a very manageable number, you can just follow this as a process. Maybe make a note of it and follow it as a process. 10th one, use newsletters. If you have never attempted newsletters before, I would strongly recommend that you do it. We used to do it continuously at one point of time. We did it for almost a year. And then because our team member who was doing it, she was not well and she had to discontinue, we also stopped it. But I can tell you the amount of recall that comes on newsletters, the amount of inquiries that gets generated on newsletters are amazing. Okay, so have the newsletter prepared. MailChimp is a very good one. You can create around 1,000 free emails or contacts. 1,000 of them are free. You can use all their features, create a very good looking newsletter. Don't be afraid that your domain will get blocked or anything. It's really good. Up to 1,000 you can send for free. Add all your top prospects or add all your top people whom you want to stay in touch with and send out a newsletter. Add content, 4 or 5 sections of content. We went to the extent of even adding YouTube videos as a section. And I still remember one of my BNI other chapter members, he called me and he finalized an order just because of one video that I had sent on newsletter. Advantage of newsletter is, of course, the open rate and all that is less, but the people who open, they see the content, they see videos, the chances of them getting impressed is quite high. Okay, more than when compared to other mediums. So newsletters are quite good. Top mind recall, call for future requirements, more referrals can get generated. 11th one is do not call always. See, one mistake that I have seen, even a team member also, what the mistake that they've done is, what they understood was that staying in touch with customer is always calling. No. Okay, please don't do that mistake. Don't keep calling the customer each time. It doesn't work. They get irritated and they may even block your number. Or nowadays, the biggest threat that I would say all of us have is to click spam on Truecaller. Because if many people click spam on Truecaller, when you call a new number, it will show spam and nobody is going to answer your call. So avoid calling always. Okay, maybe make 1 or 2 calls, skip the calls, maybe keep gaps, send WhatsApp messages. Okay, you need not have to call every single time and ask what is the status. Send a WhatsApp message once, send an email sometimes, and try to minimize the number of calls that you make until and unless the customer is in an urgency. If the customer is in an urgency, of course, call how many ever times they'll feel nice about it. But if it's a regular follow up or something, please try to minimize the number of calls. Otherwise, there are chances that your number will get spammed on Truecaller. How many of you have seen a Truecaller spamming? You've seen it, right? Red color popping and all that. If you've not used it, please see. So just imagine your number getting spammed. I mean, marked as spammed. So that can happen. Next one is avoid being intrusive. And I mean, advantages are you can avoid being intrusive and you can gain respect also. Okay, so those were 11 different ways of increasing your sales conversion. Now, would you like to contribute anything? If you feel you also know some methodology, you can please add um, anything that you feel something new that you would like to add. You can say. Any of you will have to unmute. If you're muted, you'll have to unmute and then tell anything you would like to add. Yeah, Jawahar.
Thomas Jauhri here. I
Yeah,
feel we should also organize some potential customer events. See, for example, as HR people, we organize HR conference because we give HR services and we provide HR software.
yeah.
So targeted people, the decision makers. So we find a theme. Around the theme, we organize a conference. So we did it something in April. We are planning in August. I think
Mhm.
these also help us to build our brand and probably build our credibility and improve the visibility. That's one I suggest,
Definitely, I
if it's
totally
possible.
agree to that. I totally agree to that. And in fact, BGSM that I conduct is one of the ways of conducting it in a free way. I don't have to spend money on this. All I'll have to do is prepare and present. So, and I'm able to talk to all of you. If I add value to you, good. If I don't add value to you, I lose you. Okay, so I have to do something week after week. So this is one of the strategies, as you said rightly. It's very very important to do that. Only thing is, whatever I've told
Yeah.
here, I've tried to keep the budget low, because not many of us can afford, a big budget for such activities. So definitely that's very important. In fact,
I
what
agree.
we have started doing is I have started putting in my proposal itself that we go the extra mile by giving you an option of being part of BGSM. I've started telling that to my clients now. Okay, because if they can say, hey, this company not only gives me a software, not only gives me a solution, they're also concerned about my growth. They're also concerned about what all I can do. That's something that we've started doing. Yeah, Jawahar sir, what you said is actually correct. In fact, companies like SAP, they conduct regular events like this. I mean, sure,
Yeah.
Microsoft also. Mr. Dinesh is in
LinkedIn
Microsoft.
also does it. LinkedIn
Absolutely
also does it.
correct. LinkedIn local and all that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Only thing is budget. They have a budget set apart for it. So if our company has a budget, yes, we can definitely do that. Thank you very much for telling that. That's a extremely valuable point. Anyone else has anything to add?
Yeah, ask for reference leads from your
Oh yeah,
customers.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is one
generating
thing.
more
Yeah, I do.
reference. I totally agree to that. Yes.
Yeah, Thomas, I wanted to say you should have some differentiator,
Okay.
Actually, I meet hundreds of people. I
Yeah.
met a guy in Hyderabad, and actually I asked him what he did, and he says I sell customer experiences. We're into customer experiences, so it stuck to me,
Okay.
And actually,
Mm-hmm.
he's making IT products, but the way he said it and the way he demonstrated, and so he was using a term which was very different,
Very
and
different.
that
Yeah.
thing just stuck to my mind, So
True.
something which is different in your products and services from
Yeah.
others, and that thing catches on to you because I don't we are not in a position to remember hundreds of people,
Correct.
like Vanya, I will always remember because he's the first guy he talks about a confidence coach. I have never heard of a confidence coach,
Correct.
So he may be doing the same thing which other things are doing, but the way he projects it, the differentiator, that's what sticks to you, So how are you how are you differentiating your products and services? What terms you're using? I think
I
that
agree.
stick on to the mind. So that
Yeah.
communication is very important. Thank you.
I think we'll call ourselves a scaling automation or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, as you were telling, I was just thinking, what can I call us? Maybe scaling up, automate to scale up or something. I'll have to think. I think I'll have to refine it. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very good suggestion. We'll all have to, when
Yeah,
people say,
think
what do
think
you
of
do?
an acronym. Think of an acronym. I think you're very good in that. But
Mm-hmm.
when you meet people, say something that they will register. I mean, if
Yeah,
we
which
use
is,
very generic terms, there's no differentiator.
yes, I think with now I'll have to strongly come up with something. I hope all of us come up with something very unique and they should say, what is that? I've never heard of that. Yeah, that's really good suggestion. Yeah. Thank you. Anything else? Anyone else would like to add anything or ask questions? Um,
I think we have a question coming up in the chat box.
oh, sorry. Okay, will these strategies like newsletters work for a service business like photography, a business with generic clients, not much professionals? Any specific idea could share? See, if you are into B2C, where your clients are the general public, then I'm sure many of us would suggest is Instagram, and I'm sure you're already there on Instagram, which is something that I did not even cover in mine because my brain did not even go there. But if you're into B2C kind of products like photography and all, Instagram is the best platform to be, and that's an amazing way to do. Will newsletters work for you? Probably if you have somebody who's regularly giving you orders, maybe you can just take them 10 or 50 of them and then share something with them to keep them updated. Obviously B2C newsletters might not work really well. How other competitors work? Yeah, definitely we need to keep researching. What should monthly newsletter cover? Success stories, maybe some recent events that you have attended or recent events that you have conducted, and a short video. Like for me, these BGSM videos are a huge thing. I record this and I share it in YouTube. So I can even keep this as one of the value addition, 8 secrets of sales conversion. So this is something that I can keep out there. So you have around 3 or 4 blocks. One will be pure marketing, the others will be value addition, like that. Yeah, achievements, absolutely. Yeah, achievements that we have. Yeah. Okay, so One thing that I forgot you to ask all of you is to have told your name, your company, your location, and category so that some networking would have happened. So I will do that right now. As I said, Dr. Sunil is into project management consulting. He takes care of projects. Dinesh is into project management training. He coaches people to become better. And Mr. Alexander is into branding. So they are the people who had asked about something. Anyone else would like to ask anything? Okay, so please invite your friends. Okay, ask them, send them the group invite and ask them to be part of BGSM. And if you would like to inspire any of us, you have something unique to say that you know and others don't know, which can help all of us to scale up our business. Please let me know. You can take the upcoming sessions. It's not that only I need to speak. We already had two presenters before, and we have other support systems also. Please let me know if you would be interested. These are the books that I would strongly recommend. These are books that I use for whatever ideas I get in business, and these have really helped me. So strongly recommended books. So please get them. So one challenge, 10x challenge that I would like to leave you all with is, what one new process will you implement to increase your sales conversion this week? I think one thing that I will definitely do is get a phrase. So when people ask me, what do you do? I'm surely going to come up with a phrase which is a little different. As Dr. Sunil said, it should not be something that everybody says, something different. I think that's something that I'm going to come up with from this particular meeting. So please share your questions in group or to me. We'll plan a session for that. And thank you. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for attending. I hope there was some value addition. So see you again on coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
So much.